Hi, I asked that question in a post this morning. It's been on my mind anyway to talk about this. Why I have become addicted, you might be asking yourself. Why is it just me? Why is it that I have a problem with alcohol? I can't stop drinking. I drink too much of it, but my buddy and my mates, they can take it or leave it. Or why is it that I can, when I go to the casino, I can't stop gambling, but someone else can just place one or two bets and then that's it for them. Well, there is a lot of sort of varying evidence about why some people become addicted and others don't. And one of the elements is genetic. I say can be a genetic component, but that's not always the case. And there's usually some kind of emotional issue that's also supporting that if it is genetic. It's more often than not the person just wants to feel better. And I was asking that question in a group once, and that was one of the answers that came back. I just want to feel better. And it's kind of connected to, the human condition, because that's life and it's difficult and it throws a lot of things at us and people just want to feel better. So some people will gravitate towards some substance or some behaviour, and then they will find that, it's helping them to feel better and they'll keep doing it. But there's there can be a sort of a sense of failure to that as well, in that it's, well, why can't I stop? So that's where possibly the genetic element comes into it, because there's also a theory that in some people their dopamine receptors, so those are the reward receptors, have a greater capacity than others, which means that they need more of a substance or more of an activity in order to feel that reward, to feel the benefit of it. So there are a lot of factors, there are a lot of components to it, and it's quite complex. But that sense of failure and why me is really very prevalent with people. And it's a tough one to feel that, and it's normal to feel that. If you're somebody that is struggling with an addiction and you think, well, my friends, my family and my mates, they don't have it, so there must be something wrong with me. I must be the problem. And that's why a lot of people find a lot of benefit from going to groups and support groups, online or face-to-face, and they, talk to other people and hear other people expressing the same feelings and the same issues, and that's very comforting, and it makes you feel less alone and less like you're a disaster, because that's what people feel. They feel this self-loathing, and being in a group and talking to others is really helpful. However, that sense of failure is still there, because we're all individuals, and while you're hearing other people, it's still with you, you're still dealing with that problem. And that's what I talked about last night, because you're the only person who can really solve it, who can really do anything about it. But in essence, that why have I become addicted is down to I want to feel better. People feel different. They just feel different. They feel separated or disconnected in their lives. Even in childhood or in school, from bullying and things like that, children can feel separate, they can feel different. And often it doesn't take much. It doesn't necessarily need to be a big trauma or anything. It can be, obviously, that can be a big factor in addiction. But not necessarily. It can be a series of little events. These birds are very loud, but it's lovely at the same time. Sorry, I've just lost my train of thought. Yes, it can be from childhood, bullying, and we attach beliefs to experiences that we have. And that's one thing that's really common, especially when in younger children, I think up to about the age of 7 or 8, we're highly influenced by what happens around us. And we attach meaning to that. We attach meaning to experiences, and we have these beliefs, and we form beliefs about ourselves, and these are all stored in our subconscious. So there's a whole raft of factors involved, but like I say, it very often just boils down to wanting to feel better. I mean, even people in stressful jobs, later on in life may develop an addiction, because whilst they can be brilliant in their jobs, there can be a feeling that constant stress, that constant pressure, needing relief from that. and finding it in alcohol, or finding it in drugs, or finding it in shopping addiction, or porn addiction, or gaming, and so many other things. It's that search for relief from that anxiety and stress. So there will always be an emotional component to it. And the way to deal with it and to tackle it is to find a better way to cope, better coping skills, and creating direction in your life, and new activities and new ways to deal with life stresses. So I hope that's been a little bit helpful and shed some light on it, so that people don't feel so different and so separate. It's a human response or human reaction to the human condition. That's what addiction is. Addiction is a symptom. It's a symptom of an underlying discomfort, dis-ease within us, and that's what it is. And it can be overcome with the right help and support, and finding direction and a new focus in your life. So that's all for now. Have a lovely evening. Bye for now.